My name's Luis Santos. I'm a senior at Jackson Liberty High School. The problems I have are plentiful. There's a lot. One of them is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, that I'm very flexible to collagen disorder. Like, to dumb it down a little, I'm just really double jointed. I have dysautonomia, which is a whole stomach thing. It's autoimmune disease. It gives me early satiety, so like I take a bite of food and I'm full, and it's really frustrating. Because that, alongside colonic inertia, which I got recently diagnosed with, it's a whole problem with the entire bowel system, and I'm not gonna get into that. I have POTS, which is typically supposed to make your heart rate go up and blood pressure go down. My heart rate goes down and my blood pressure goes up. I run bradycardic. I have adrenal insufficiency, which I just don't produce adrenaline. And that's about it, I think. As I said before, they're all genetic problems. I got most of them on my mom's side. She loves me though. Yeah, and I just slowly learned them through the years. I was playing fencing because I used to fence with swords, and I got jabbed and my knee popped out. And I was like, this is the worst pain in the world. And I just popped it back in myself. And I'm like, oh, fine, whatever. Then soon my shoulders would pop, everything would pop. And I was like, what's causing this? And that was the first diagnosis with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Everything branched from there to cause this whole mess of DNA. I was 13 when I first found out I had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And from there, I was 15 when I learned about POTS and dysautonomia, 16 when I learned about adrenal insufficiency, and recently this year I was diagnosed with colonic inertia. I go to a Children's Specialized Hospital in Philadelphia, CHOP. Great place. Wonderful doctors, beautiful staff. I go to CHOP. All the doctors there care for you. They're all specialized in their own fields. Like, I see Dr. Boris, the POTS clinic doctor, and he really helps me through a lot. And sometimes I go to Jersey Shore Hospital, but they always send me back to CHOP, whether it be helicopter or ambulance. True stories. The problems that I have, they aren't really curable per se. There's treatments, but other than that, like the IV I have in me helps me feel a little bit better, keeps blood volume up, and I just have to take a lot of medication. Other than that, there's no identifiable cure. When I was young, I played outside a lot. I had my friends, we used to run around neighborhood, playing in everyone else's yards. And till fencing, where I got hurt in my knee and my ankle and my shoulder, and I just couldn't go out as much. I went to a pretty sad state pretty young, not being able to do as much as I used to. But I found my ways through. Sometimes you just gotta fight it. And that's what I learned when I was young. Childhood was pretty hopeful. How hasn't it affected me? It causes a lot of stress in my life. Last year I missed a total like 2.5 months of school, practically. I don't see many friends as much as I used to. It gets me kind of sad because, you know, I actually like school, and it hurts to not be able to go. And I've lost friends because they don't understand the pain and the hardships I go through. No one has ever really understood it, other than my parents, of course. Family is so much. My mother, she's one of the biggest supports in my life. My father, he tries his best to tell me to fight through, the man he is. My doctors, teachers at Liberty, my music teacher, the biggest inspiration in my life. My dog, big supporter. I run a Facebook page, and I tell people about my life, and they always tell me to fight, so my supporters there, they always cheer me up. And I also have my friends, my family, but sometimes there's no line between them. Sometimes they are my family. With kids with genetic illness, there's only so much you can do. You just have to be there for when they need you. If it's to help them run to the pharmacy to get something, if it's just drop off Gatorade, if it's just to give them a hug or just a simple hello, the small things go a long way when it comes to that. Like my mother and father, they help me so much by just being there for me. Teachers are so understanding. There's no definitive way. It's just, don't be a jerk. Like, kids like me have our ups and downs. Like, when my heart rate goes low, I get very I can be very frustratable. I think that's the word, but don't take things to heart. Way for people to help in community is just accept me for who I am, because I can only change myself so much for people, but I'm not gonna change my entire entity. Like, people gotta accept me for me, like I accept others for them. And don't leave me out of certain things, because even an invite goes a long way. Saying hello goes a long way too. Just people in community, if they just treat us like us, that helps. There's a few scary instances I've had to go through. One of them was my heart rate went to about a 20, and normal heart rates, healthy heart rates go to 60, 50 if you're a runner. I went to 20, and I had to get airlifted to Philadelphia for doctors to help me. I was in bad shape. Another time was I went for a stomach test, and you had to get a tube down your nose, and it goes into your stomach, and it pumps you full of like this insulin kind of stuff. And it got stuck right in my stomach. And when I say I was screaming for a good hour and a half, I was screaming. Like, I felt like I wanted to die. Like, it was bad pain. I remember coming home, my throat was like shot. Like, I was screaming so loud. And that's not even the scariest part. I asked for pain medicine, and they gave it me 45 minutes after I requested it. Like, it was just pain. Another scary part was during a band competition last year. We were doing ACC finals, and everything was going fine until there was 2 potholes in the ground. I stepped in one, and my knee buckled, and I tried to get back up, and my other leg went in one. My entire knee dislocated, and I just went down. I thought my entire leg was broken. It was another painful experience, but luckily I walked up during awards. So I guess high risk, high reward. Another scary, and this is the scariest one, is when I was 14, I went to New York with my family, and it was their most recent diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I got tested because there was a chance that I had this other type of Ehlers-Danlos that would rupture organs, rupture everything. Like, it would be fatal. Like, it's hard to live with that. And we got a call, and turns out I'm 98% positive of not having vascular EDS. My mother was in tears, and it was one of the happiest experiences, but the scariest, because some days I think about that 2%. That, like, am I actually okay? But I'm alive now, obviously doing something right. So there's three main strengths that lie in me. One of them is my ability to escape with music, and another one's hope. As I said before, my music teacher is one of my biggest influences, and he showed me the path to being able to escape pain through music. So when I'm in a bad spot, I just put on jazz and I'm able to escape, and that's what I feel one of my strongest points is, being able to recognize, hey, it's gonna be okay, there's better things out there. And the second most important is hope. Hold on, pain ends. I live by that. You can ask anyone that knows me, I say have hope in everything. There's always an upside. There's always something better going on in life. Because bad days are just bad days. And I think it's, alongside hope, one of my strengths is being optimistic. I mean, sure, we all have our bad days, but in the end, you're awake. Your feet hit the ground in the morning. Having that view of hope is probably my biggest strength. A message would be that just have hope. Life goes on. I mean, I'm hooked up to IVs once a week. And I just smile because I know there are worse people out there. People have it worse than me. And that pushes me to go further, to fight. A message I would have is just keep fighting hard. And just have hope.